This is Leah with Backyard Homestead in Starkville, Mississippi, and we are out in the garden this morning. This is the day after Memorial Day. I worked yesterday on Memorial Day, and we're out getting everything covered. And I talked about the other day that we try to keep every inch of the garden covered with something. We use chopped leaves, hay, grass clippings, whatever we can get our hands on. And we're out this morning. You can tell the row over here we mulched the other day with hay bales we had bought. And then over here in this row, this is fresh hay. And then this row is where we used our own grass clippings, where we mowed and used our grass clippings in the garden. Down at the other end down there is we use the grass clippings that one of our neighbors clips and bags up for us. So we have grass clippings from the neighbors right here, grass clippings with dried leaves here, fresh hay over here, and then we got a gift the other day when I was working with my brother. He had some bales of hay laying in one of his flower beds, and I asked what he planned on doing with it because it was kind of old and broken down, and he said that he didn't have anything planned, and so he gave us that, and I'm going to take you around and show you that. So this is what we got from my brother Dylan, and this is 8 bales of hay, and he used it on a hay ride for his kids way back around Halloween, so back in October. And then it has sat in one of his flower beds getting rained on and breaking down, so it's half rotten and half matted. It's wonderful. So we are using this to put down to mulch in the garden this morning. So we're mulching between the rows with this, and what a wonderful gift. It's half broken down, half rotted, and ready to go. Okay. This is the hay, and you can see it's been soaking, so it's rotted and matted. So I'm basically just having to roll it off of the truck in good chunks into the wheelbarrow. It's already half decomposed and matted, so it's a perfect covering. That's it. That's one bale, and we've got 8 of these. We're going to take these around and put them down between the rows. See, like these few weeds down here, we don't really worry about going through and pulling all these out and just mulch on top of them, just real heavy. And this hay is perfect because it's already kind of matted in sheets. So I'll just take this and take a sheet of it and just lay it down and cover the weeds with it right up against the plants. And if we didn't have this hay, we'd either use, like I was talking about earlier, grass clippings or chopped leaves or just whatever we get our hands on. Just keep it all covered. And we have very little problem with weeds in the garden. The only place we have problem with weeds is where we haven't found something to cover it with yet. So any exposed earth, any exposed soil, we have weed issues. But once we get it covered, really you're done with weeding for this season. And if any start popping through, you know you don't have enough covering, so go back and add some more. Okay, these are our next door, or this is the house next door to us. And the people who were renting it, it's a rental. The people who are renting it have recently moved, and we don't know what kind of neighbors we'll get next. So along our fence over here, we are going to plant zinnias. And since we don't know who we'll be getting, this kind of serve a double purpose. It'll act as a screen for us, give us something beautiful to look at, and attract pollinators. And also, hopefully, they'll get big enough and tall enough to kind of act as a screen. And if we knew the neighbors we'd be getting were garden-friendly people, we'd use this fence to plant something edible. We've planted okra on it before. We've planted cucumbers on it, planted different things. Or we planted peppers on it one year, and you could kind of use the fence as a support. But we don't know who we're getting, so we're going to plant us a little colorful, decorative screen. But it's also will attract pollinators. Okay, and then we just finished this row right here in the middle. So this is what it looks like, completely mulched. And next we're going to do this row, and it already has a little bit of covering of some chopped leaves and different things, but you can see some weeds coming through, so not enough. And I wanted to mention, talk about planting zinnias on the fence. Zinnias are wonderful to grow. Everybody who has a garden should be growing zinnias, because we used to plant, last year we planted zinnias on every one of these poles at the end of each row, and this year we have little zinnias volunteering everywhere around where the seeds dropped. So we are going around. Here's one that's growing up under the green beans, and so we're just taking these and digging them up and transplanting them in the garden where we want them. And that's where half of those that we just set out at the end on that fence came from. Dug them up out of the garden, and also we just used our seed from last year and planted some in flats. So pretty cool. Okay, we just got finished spreading the 8 bales of the partially decomposed hay, and we had enough to do this entire section of the garden. So this row we already had mulched with hay that we bought from the co-op. This is a row that we mulched this with the broken down hay. This was with the broken down hay. This lighter colored, the honey colored, was from the co-op. This row we used a mixture of grass clippings and the broken down hay, and the grass clippings also had some chopped leaves in with it. And then the rest of the garden we used the broken down, the old bales of hay, the partially rotted, partially decomposed, broken down, matted, wet, soggy bales of hay. And it made for beautiful, beautiful mulch. And we had enough to mulch down around the end where we planted our zinnias, transplanted our zinnias that we found growing in the garden, and transplanted the ones out of the flats that we had started with seed we collected last year. So beautiful, beautiful. And everything is covered now on this side of the garden. We still need to work on the other side, but this side's ready to go. And we shouldn't have to weed again probably this season. And everything, the mulch helps with weed suppression, it helps with water retention, it helps with temperature control of the soil, and instead of using some sort of a artificial weed barrier like the black weed barrier cloth, this is actually helping to build the soil from year to year. So we're adding natural organic material to the soil and building soil as we use it for weed suppression, moisture retention, all the good positive things that you need in your garden. That is it for this. Thanks for watching.